Pro Group Racing presents Show Us Your Tips, previewing the weekend racing for the 21st of November, 2020. 2020.com.au, 2020. Progroupracing.com.au is what I was getting to next. Visit progroupracing.com.au for extensive guides and free tips. Beaver, how are you, buddy?
Very good, thanks, Dagster. Beautiful day there, mate.
It is. It's all right out here. It's going to be hotter this Arvo. On the road up the Putty Road this afternoon to Denman to have a few beers and get out of Western Sydney for a weekend. So meet some of the locals up there. So
good on you.
So I don't get
yourself.
to see your head today apart from over Zoom. But what are you made of the weekend ahead?
It's not overly encouraging, I must say. It's most part of it almost a midweek meeting on a Saturday.
At both venues.
At midweek tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
So a little bit disappointing, but I think there's a few winners there nonetheless. We do have a reasonable strike rate with midweek form, so it's not all doom and gloom, I must say.
Well, there's a few of our old favourites popping up, coming through midweek stuff at the track and at Bendigo. So hopefully we'll kick off at Ballarat for Ballarat Cup Day and see how we go. You going to run through each race, or we'll kick off in the first, I suppose?
We'll kick off in the first, mate.
With the benchmark 70 over the 1100, and hopefully actually with a winner. Hopefully we can start the weekend on a good note. You thinking the Gouch might be a good chance here?
I think the Gouch might be a real good chance here. Very consistent of late. Form behind some pretty decent horses and looks to get the right trail into the race here. Got the 61, but he's not too far above the minimum. Look, I expect the Gouch to certainly be in the finish. It'll finish certainly in the top few, and for that reason, happy to play on that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Not much to add. I think he's flying. Ballarat will suit. Track itself generally plays pretty well. It can be leaders on occasion, I've found. Always hard when you get some better quality horses back to these midweek tracks, but I'm going to look for any bias before I panic about that. I think the Gouch is here to win the first for Joe McNeil. Good gate, right run. Will be pretty close to the pace and hard to beat.
Yeah, 100%.
Less enthusiastic about the benchmark 78 2600. This was too hard.
Yeah, I left it alone.
Yeah, too hard for me as well.
Yeah, I left it alone, mate. Different horses win these every time they run, so can't find one for you there.
Cool. I'll shoulder arms there as well. The third over the 1400, the Eureka Stockade. Two nice horses here. I thought Shelby Cobra was pretty impressive when it beat up Tommy Gold at Flemington. Form before that was good. Probably should be undefeated. It was a bit of a tragedy at Moonee Valley on debut as well, and I think around the even money, $1.80 even money, I think it's the horse to beat here.
$1.40 now, mate. Reciprocation's been scratched.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
as of this morning.
Oh, well, it'll win, but I don't want to touch that price.
No.
Yeah. I think, that was a two-horse race that I don't need to talk about now, I suppose.
No, just keep running, son.
No, all right. Any thought on the Clockwise Classic? They run the other way down in Melbourne for this race. Anything?
No, I turned the hands forward on this one, mate, and skipped past this race.
I didn't mind. No real enthusiasm, but I thought Gay's horse was pretty good up the straight on Cup Day. Just got a little bit lost at the end, Butter Blonde. And she has a pretty good record in this race, but as usual with a lot of unexposed 2-year-old form, we'll save the money for the quaddie, I think. Where are you going next? High Stranger in the fifth?
Yeah. I looked at the fifth and I did go for High Stranger again to back up its first up win. I tipped it as one of my value tips when it won first up, and it was a nice win. Assuming they can run on down the middle of the track, I think High Stranger gets again in well here. Jai McNeil aboard, and this isn't an overly strong affair. Probably no stronger, if not a little bit weaker than its first up efforts. So if he can produce anywhere near that and come on with the last run, then I think it'll, around the $4 mark, present some decent value here in what looks to be a fairly open race.
Yeah, I think there's a few making up the numbers at the top there, and a lot of them been up for a while as well. So I thought High Stranger was a great return, coming down the middle. as you said, a weaker race here. Big day for Jai McNeil, I guess. So, yeah, with you there with High Stranger as well. We get a couple of benchmark 78s, the 6th and the 7th for the girls are up first here over the 1200. Wide open affair here. There's a couple I'll play at odds. I didn't really have a thorough opinion, but the two I could probably back in the around the 20s mark. Arctic Shock first up for Craig Williams, and Florent for the new stable. Both big odds, but in a race I'm not particularly keen to stamp anything. I thought they're two outside the market I could play. I think Lunicorn's a horse with some talent, but I just haven't had much luck trying to find it of late. What about yourself?
Yeah, look, I came up with Chassis here. I thought its runs this preparation have been pretty good. Go back a few starts, about 3 starts ago, beat Rich Hips at Caulfield, which I think is pretty good form for a race like this. And then back that up a few months back in August with a 5th, only 3 lengths behind Bless Her. And we know Bless Her is a pretty decent galloper, and then wasn't far from them at its most recent outing when it finished 6th at Caulfield, again without a lot of luck. So I'm expecting in this field, Chassé gets the outside and comes to them late, assuming that they can run on again, and probably in the race prior to that with High Stranger, we'll get a bit of an idea of that. It could be the one finish over the top of them.
Yeah, nice find there. About $8, $8 at the moment on with tab. So, yeah, good work there. So a couple of odds. I think that's the way to play the race. I wouldn't really be playing into too much, but a couple of those at big odds could be the way to go. The quarter kicks off race 7 over the mile. A rematch a rematch from the race at Flemington. In Cup Week for a lot of this field, a lot of bush form here. Right You Are was pretty good on return, looked a bit lost and then picked up through the line. You'd think the favourite's hard to beat here, having had a run now?
I do. I think Right You Are is probably one of the better bets of the day. Really like the way it finished off first up. Gets out now to the 1600. Mark Zara aboard, drawn perfectly. Should be presenting at the right time and be super hard to hold out in this affair. Again, not an overly deep field, in my opinion, and therefore, hence why the market has come up the way it has.
Yeah, I agree with you pretty much. And I could, as usual, I'll probably have something each way. Uncle Pumpage at the double figure mark, and it'll probably run third for me again. But Right You Are, obvious starting point as well. The Ballarat Cup, bit of a better race here for you on the back up from Sandown last week over the 2,000 metres. I'll just check the scratchings before we keep going. Wide open affair as well. Just Mongolian Marshall and Power scheme out so far. Any thoughts in a tough race?
What do you got?
I'm on 2 backup horses. I like Juniper was pretty impressive last week. I think Kenya will end up being a decent horse, and I think quick backup. I know it hasn't won at the 2,000, but it's been okay. I think Karen McAvoy on her. Good booking, gate 11, but this time of the day should be okay. And if he backs up, should be hard to beat. I don't like gate 1, but I thought Stacey Bond was actually pretty good last week. I know I was on it, but the 2 quick backup horses for me, Damien Lane's going to need a lot of luck. Probably would rather him swooping. But Juniper from Sosie Bond were my 2. What about you?
Yeah, I've gone for Affair to Remember. Really like the way that Affair to Remember's been finishing off its races. The last 4 runs have been pretty good, although there's a 9th in there. I think that was a couple of lengths behind Sovereign Award, which is still fairly decent form. I like the fact that it gets a 4 kilo weight pull off Junipal. And again, I think this horse is going the best that it's ever gone, and this is a perfect race for it. 2,000 metres, it'll certainly be producing at the right time, around the $5.50, $6 mark in a pretty open field. Certainly presents decent enough value for me.
Mark Zara's a right jockey for it as well, I think. Just nice.
Yeah, 100%.
Irish Flame's the other one there that's been flying. Probably goes into my quaddy. But it needs a run at the moment. So, yeah, I think we've covered off pretty well the main chances. The 3 and 4-year-old classic race 9 over the 1,100 metres. The Astrologist is flying. This is a restricted sales race, so a lot of these are just here for the run because it's Vobis only. And been tremendous both runs. He's prepped the Astrologist. Weaker race back from Cup week and back around the bend suits as well. Hard to beat.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think this will probably start odds on. Whip Crack Away, I'm not sure if it's a dual acceptor, I think, for even tonight. Don't know if it's been scratched from that to run in at Ballarat or it's running at Moonee Valley tonight. Not sure yet. If it gets scratched, then Astrologist probably starts $1.60.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't see too many problems with Astrologist in this race.
Yeah,
Bad luck will beat it.
It's my best of the day, so can't add much more. The last bit of a gala, the benchmark 84 over the 1,400 metres. A few here through, very different form lines. I'm going to make my starting point, though, the outrageous race at Flemington, the two that finished close up behind that. So that leaves me with, who was it here? Two that chased it home, Ocular and the difference. Two reasonable, both each way prices there. A lot of these came through the Gray's race, a lot which I'm saying is not really form. And so I'm looking for a proper race there. And then if you're looking outside of that, Dash was pretty good up the straight. I think it's a straight horse. I think 1,400 suits better. Probably control here with Michael Walker, who's pretty good on front runners. I'm basically looking towards those three as chances. Ocular, if I had to stamp one. About yourself?
Yeah, I was leaning to the same thinking as you, except I came back to Yardash. I was trying to find a reason not to tip it, and I just thought that its first up run was pretty good, and I suspect it to improve a bit more. Taking it down to Melbourne, again, I couldn't quite line up the form from the Greys race. Ocular drawn gate 18 certainly was the turning factor for me there. I just don't know where Ocular's going to sit, and I think if they have to snag it all the way back, I think it might just have too much to do in the straight. I think it needs to really sit midfield. So whether they can get it across the difference, I'm expecting they'll take the difference forward. So if he can potentially control some of the pace, it may well be hard to run down. I think it's a horse with a little bit of ability. It's a very open race. B Hunter was a good run last start. Probably its best run for some time, but would need to produce a little bit more. And Tisham Binders is in very consistent form. So an open race with plenty of chances. But I just come back to the number 7, Dash, when it all said and done.
Yeah, great. I think we covered it there as well. You're in charge of the quaddie, so do you want to do that before you do your best and value?
I can do that for you, mate. Not a problem. In the first leg, I've gone 2, 3, and 6.
Yep.
In the second leg, I've gone 3, 4, 10, 11, and 20.
Yep.
In the third leg, I've just gone one out, number 3, in the Astrologist. And then in the last leg, I've gone a little bit wider. I've gone for 5, 6, 7, 11, 16, 17, 19.
What have we got there? That'll give us 16 by 7. 112 combos? As a mess.
What was it? 16 times 7? That's 112 combos.
Yeah, there we go. Should be an accountant. Yeah, perfect. So your best in value then?
40-odd%. Yeah, my best bet of the day is race 7, number 3, Right You Are. And then my value bet of the day was race 5, wasn't it? No, race 6, Chassis.
Chassis, very nice.
Race 6, number 7.
I'll make my value Juniper. I think he's flying this prep around the $6 mark. I think he might get better than $6 on a day. My best is the Astrologist, but I'm actually pretty keen to link up the Astrologist, the other one that's the same horse, High Stranger, and it was Shelby Cobra, but she's now it's $1.40. I'll leave that one probably now. Good stuff. Don't forget about progroupracing.com.au. Go there and check them out. Some new articles up this week, including a bit of a review of the Melbourne Cup that's just gone up. And let's head to Kembla Grange for the Gong, the $1 million Gong. More $1 million racing in Sydney. Weather's fine. There was supposed to be an afternoon shower there today, but it won't make any difference. Tends to be a bit out down the outside, Kembla, doesn't it, Beaver?
Yeah, it does, mate.
Hard to lead there a lot of the time.
Suits horses that can run on. Yeah, it is hard to lead.
But let's get into this program. Where did we start? Where's our starting point? Let's start in the first. It's always a good spot. 1500 metre benchmark 72. I think Atlantic King's come back really well this prep. Has been good. Form behind Enchanted Heart stood up together, having that's now won twice in town, then just got pipped last week at Newcastle. I think this is a weaker race than that. A bit sick of Big Boy Roy, and there's not much else here. I thought Atlantic King will be suited by the track as well, as opposed to Knight, who might have to try a lead all the way. So around the $4 mark, Atlantic King hopefully can kick us off with a winner. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, mate. No, I didn't. I didn't have too much here to add, and I wasn't keen on anything. I thought, yes, summation there of Atlantic King was pretty good, and probably if there's a danger, probably the top weight, the Hera Falls.
Come back.
But, yeah, no, nothing for me, mate. I'm happy to watch.
Yeah, same in the highway.
Yeah, mate. I'll sit on the Canadian club I had in the first.
No, fair enough. 2,000 metre benchmark 78 gets us into the rest of the program. What do you reckon? Any idea?
Oh, mate, I think this is another really, really tough race. Again, wasn't overly keen on anything here. Probably the one that I thought had the biggest room for improvement was Accountability at about $10. One last start, finished the race off okay, third up. Certainly suits 2,000 metres. So if it's improved on its last run, then could well be the knockout chance around the $10 mark.
Is J Mac with us at the moment? I don't know. He hasn't been.
That is a bit of a question mark, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Vegas Jewel probably goes the other race, doesn't it?
I'd say so, yeah.
I thought worth a try here is Price. Now, Kerwin's Lane. Wet didn't suit it at all. Didn't go yard into wet before. That was two pretty dominant wins at midweek level, I know. And if it's still around the double figure mark, I thought that's a reasonable play.
$12.
Yeah, so for me, Hugh Bowman back up as well. $12. Barrier probably suits. Dry suits, I think, can come back into some form here. I think it's a big price. Stockman, it was its race last time. Dry track, not so much. And then there's just not much else I want to play with. So if Accountability improves, hard to take $10 when it was 50s last start, but if Accountability improves, maybe that's the way I look at it as well. But yeah, Kerwin's Lane for me on top. The 1,000 metre race bench, another 78 is race 4. Anything in the sprint, Beaver?
I'm keen to have a look at how Broken Arrows goes around first up. So it's a horse that's got a little bit of ability. I think last preparation they took it up to Brizzy for a bit of a tilt. Horse that likes to run on, so it'll be suited by Kembla Grange, and has raced against some reasonable horses and put in good performances in the past. So this could be a decent race for it first up. And again, at almost a double figure odds, certainly happy to have a look at that.
Great. I'm with Hulk here. I like the 3x between runs. I like it. They've probably done nothing with it and brought it back to 1,000. And what price was Hulk? As I wait for my
About $5 or $6, I think.
$6. I think 1,000 meters here will actually be right up its alley. And Tommy Berry's flying at the moment, so yeah, 550. For me, I was with Hulk to come down the middle of the track for a typical Tommy Berry ride. So yeah, sums up for me. The 5th benchmark 78 for the boys. My best of the days here. I think Pandemic's is nearly immoral. Big Parade had everything in it. Or I've been with Big Parade a lot. Now it's been gelded. Comes away from Canterbury, which probably suits it better. And there's just not a lot in this race. I think Pandemic chased Villami. Probably race shape really didn't suit behind the 2 leaders. Comes here, freshen up, a month off, or 6 weeks off, and it probably has the last shot in a pretty weak race. So Pandemic for me under Tom Sherry, down to 60, hard to beat. Mo's Crown back to dry, and J Mac on interesting second up. But Pandemic for me. What about yourself?
I've gone the other way, mate. I've stuck with Big Parade. Lot to like about how this horse has returned this preparation. It's drawn wide, but I think that probably helps. It'll come across from the outside if it leads and can control this race. Pandemic might need to do a bit of weaving through the field and might find it hard to run this boy down. So good race. Only looks to be 2 or 3 chances, but I've certainly stuck with Big Parade just on its recent form.
And as I said, gelded and always trials well. Josh Parr, you don't really get a better better front running jockey in Sydney than Josh Parr. So plenty of ticks in your favour.
Yeah, 100%.
The girls' version of the 78 of the 1,200 meters comes up next. This was a interesting affair. Did you stick with Makrura, or are you saying not with us?
I did. I don't think there's too many chances in the race again. I think the top 2 look to be the main chances, and Stolen Jade is not without a hope. I stuck with Makura only because I made it my best bet last start. It was a pretty wet track, and I don't think it actually handled that track. It looked to be labouring in the conditions. So I'm gonna take the punt that the better track. We'll see a lot of improvement from this horse. It didn't shirk its task first up, even under those conditions, and therefore I think just with the pull in the weights and that run under its belt, that it might just be too good given the draw from Intrepidus.
Again, I went the other way to you. I went with Intrepidatious. I like that they've kept it away from the wet. They didn't bother a couple of times they got wet tracks. They keep ticking. All the trials they tick it over with are all very nice. I'm just thinking, I think Macru is sort of a wet tracker, and it showed exactly what it could do last start. I don't think it's grown since its 2-year-old years. So I went Intrepidatious. Stolen Jade, I didn't know what to do with because that was so impressive at Canterbury. But I don't, Clary Connors isn't someone I tend to find a lot. So I went Rachel King, John O'Shea, probably control here and hard to beat. The Gong is the mile over the mile for the million, I should say, race 7. Bit of a gala affair. We see horses from everywhere. Do you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, mate, I'm going to go with Purple Sector. Thought its run 2 starts back was really impressive. Then they took it to Melbourne and won quite well there. It was a nice little win. I think the step up to 1,800 was as far as it wants to go. I think it'll be more suited back to the mile here at Kembla Grange. Again, drawn well weighted, in a fairly open race. I think this horse is flying at the moment and certainly hard to beat. And then I thought as one of the main dangers was Almedo from the Wallace stable. So I think that's got a bit of sharp improvement left in it. It was also went down to Melbourne and finished, was drawn wide, finished only a couple of lengths off Yulong Prince, and I think that can improve a lot on that run.
I'm with you. Purple Sector on top. I think it just got the job done. 1800. It was probably a smart ride, but before that was flying. Back up here this way going probably suits as well. I'm going with this. This is a horse I never ever thought I'd actually tip, but Cascadian was pretty good chasing Yulong Prince, and that was a fast mile and a good chase. Nash goes on. James Cummings got a knack in these grand final races now, and I think main danger Cascadian, which obviously if we're doing that we have to respect Almedo and rock through the race. Pardon me. And so they're the two, and then Dawn Passage will probably go on the quaddie. Great. The benchmark 88, another mile here. We see Berdebeck back up from the Greys race, which I've already said I don't think's form. So for me, in this race, I thought I could have something on the Freedman horse that returned quite well. I think back to the dry, Nash on beat here. From Ulasabu was quite good. Quick backup this week. What about yourself?
Yeah, a tough one. Again, a tough affair. I didn't really like the race a hell of a lot. I did come back to the two horses in Berdebeck and Elaborate. Both won last start, and outside of those two, there's not a lot of winning form around in this race. So I think that's always a good guide. Not a lot between these two. Again, as you said, the Greys race, not so sure about, but Elaborate did beat home Stockman, who you canned earlier. Yep. So hard to line that form up. If I had to go one way, I'd probably go Berdebeck. I just think it might be slightly better. But yeah, drawn gate one, it's going to need to get into a good position to be able to produce its barnstorming finish.
Anything for us in the last? 78, 1400 metres.
That would be a big no.
Yeah, the two.
This is a nightmare.
This is nearly a field job, but the two for the sake of putting up a tip that I could back, and I'm just going to see if the price is still there because I noticed Intrepidatious price is gone. Monagle is always dangerous in a race like this, about 20 to 1, and Paper Warrior for Berry and Waller as well, $6 were the two. The trials were okay for Paper Warrior, but this is a tough race. I think this might end up being $5 a field by the time they jump. So yeah, there's the two I'll throw out there at odds, and we'll wrap the day up. I'll better do a quaddie. So the Kembla quaddie is, yeah, that's good. Let's have a look here. So we'll kick off in the Gong with, not in the Gong, in the 78 with 2, 9, 12 into 2, 3, 4, 7, 11, 15 into 8, 9, 11. Home with, let's have a look here, 4, 9, 10, 11, 13. That's a Kembla quaddie. My best of the day at Kembla, as I've said, is Pandemic. I had made my value Intrepidatious, but I think it's now been backed into about 450. So less value, but I'll make that next best then. What about yourself? A best and a value at Kembla?
Mate, best I'm going to take you on. I'm going to go Big Parade.
All right.
Just to go head to head with you.
Go those. We'll have those 2 beers back on it.
Rightio, perfect, mate. Have I still not bought you those?
No.
Okay, that'd be unusual. And then my
just rage
value bet of the day.
fine.
That's right. Race 4, number 3, Broken Arrows, around the $10 mark.
Yeah, nice. Good. Have you, no
It's my
South Australia?
value.
We've got the Group 1 Railway over in Perth. Have you looked at that?
That would be a no. I haven't, mate. Have
No.
you?
No. Let me just have a look. I had a quick look last
Okay.
night. Where are we? Ascot. I know Kementari's in it. Where are we? So big insight for the punters here. I did when I just started with Williams and Pike on the favourite, which is lightly raced, 8 wins from 10 starts, about $4. I just went, okay, that's probably going to win, and moved on. Kementari's around $15 mark. I must be honest, I don't follow Perth racing. I've dropped off even betting there lately, so in the last 12 months, so I can't give much better insight than that. What about North? So no South Australian racing for a week. They're locked down. Up north, have you got anything in Queensland?
Mate, I've got 2 for you up in Queensland, as I always do.
Your strike rate was 100% once more on Wednesday, which was
Come good too, didn't it? Yeah, and both won pretty easy.
Yeah, easy watches there.
Race 7, number 7, Sugar Boom.
Yeah, nice little horse.
And race 8, number 8, Ballistic Boy.
Very good. Nice work, Beaver. Good luck this weekend. Stay out of the heat.
You too, mate.
You've dodged the
Will
cricket.
do.
So good luck to punters.
Yeah,
Check out progroupracing.com.au, and we will see everyone back to normal this week, mate. We've got Warwick Farm and on Wednesday, so back to normal midweek racing. Get back into a bit of a groove, and we'll get through summer racing, dry tracks, money to be made. Looking forward to that.
Your beauty.
Catch you, bud.
See you, mate.